Hi, I'm Marnie Pehrson with IamJoyful.com and IdeaMarketers.com. And in our last segment, we talked about becoming the hero or heroine of your own life story. Using this same analogy of heroes and heroines and fiction and how it applies to our life, I'd like to continue with this and talk about something that I learned recently from my editor. I was working on a novel about the last legal hanging in the state of Georgia. And the hero of the story happens to be my grandfather. He's not the murderer, so he's not the one getting hung, but a relative of his is murdered. And he's got to come to grips with this murder and be able to forgive and move on and get on with his life. Now, as I was writing the story, I sent it to my editor. She looked at it. She goes, "You know, this is a fabulous story. Love it, but there is no climax. And there's not enough opposition here." And so she gave me some very valuable advice. She said, your hero has to get to the point where he loses everything. He's got to have very few choices of where to go, and preferably get him down to two choices. Take one road or the other. And hopefully the hero is going to take the right road. It may be a difficult road to take, but he's got to make that decision, and the reader's got to be behind him in making that decision. Now, I was thinking about this in relationship to our own lives, and I was also thinking about some biblical examples. If you look at the life of Ruth, for example, Ruth's husband died, her father-in-law died, and also her brother-in-law died. So it left Ruth, Naomi, and Orpah, her sister-in-law, and they were totally destitute. And Naomi decided she was going to go back to the land of Israel. They were in the land of Moab. They're going to go back to the land of Israel. At least she is. And she told Ruth and Orpah to go back, go home to your families, and, you know, I don't have any more sons for you to marry, so just, go on home. Well, Orpah decided to go home. She hugged and kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth said, "Whithersoever thou wilt go, I will go." And she didn't want to leave her mother-in-law. And she said, "My God be thy God." And so Ruth makes this leap. She has two choices. She can either go back to the life she had before with her family, or she can stay and basically be destitute with this widow mother-in-law and go back to a country, or go to a country she's never even been to before, and doesn't really know the customs and everything. So Ruth takes that path, and that is her point where she loses everything. And from that point forward, she remarries. She ends up being one of the great-great-great-great-grandmothers of Jesus Christ. Another person that comes to that point where make one choice or the other is Esther. Esther is given the choice of either speak up and potentially be executed by the king in order to save her people, or to be quiet and let her people die and possibly reap some curse upon her family for not helping save the Jews. So Esther comes to that point of it, she has to say, if I die, I die. And her uncle Mordecai says, who knows but thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this. So everything brought Esther to this point of a choice, one way or the other. Either way doesn't look very good. But Esther rises to the occasion and chooses the better life, saves her people, and finds favor with the king. If you look again at our great hero, Jesus Christ, he comes to the point of Gethsemane, where he is in pain and agony as the sins of this world come and start to close in upon him, and he knows he's going to have to face the cross, and he cries, "Father, if thou be thy will, remove this cup from me." And he has a choice. He can draw back. He has the DNA of a God, and he can choose not to die if he wants to, or he can choose to die and take all of our sins and save all of us. So his choice is go through a lot of pain to save us, or forego the pain and we all perish without him. He, again, rises to the occasion, makes the choice, and goes forward. Okay, given these examples, let's apply this to our own lives again. many times in our lives we have to come to this point where it looks like we're going to lose everything, or perhaps we have lost everything, and we have only two choices, one road or the other. One path is integrity, one path is caving in and perhaps succumbing to temptation. Another path might be pursuing our goals, pursuing our dreams, going for our mission, or caving and not doing it. We come to these crossroads so many times in our lives where we have to make a choice. And if we will rise to the occasion and press on through, things will work out in the best way possible. And it's when we reach those points that we know for ourselves who we are. See, in a story, if you go back to my novel I'm working on, if I just say the hero changed, if I just have him make some good thoughts about how he's changed and developed, but we don't show the character making any change, we just tell the reader that the character changed, that's not as effective. The reader will find that story bland or, anticlimactic. What was something's missing, the reader might feel. You have to show the character has made some change, and the only way to show it is to push him completely to the wall where he has to make a choice based on what he has learned. And if he has learned it well, he will rise to the occasion and pass the test. And the same thing goes for us. Many times we're pushed completely to the wall where things don't look like they're going to work out, so that we can prove our persistence and our diligence and our trustworthiness. We have to show it. We can't just say, oh, I've learned this lesson, or oh, I'm better now, or I've proven that I've changed, I can say that I've changed. You have to prove that you've changed by your actions, and the best way to prove it is to have yourself, your back against the wall where you have no other choice but to either do the right thing or the wrong thing. And if you'll remember those stories of Esther and Ruth and Jesus Christ and lots of others in the scriptures, look for those points where the people are pushed to the wall and they have to make a choice, and neither choice looks to be rosy, and you've got to rise to the occasion. So in order to be the hero of your own story, remember those climax points. You have to reach those climax points in your life. They're there for a reason. They're there for you to prove yourself. And then you will be the hero or heroine of your own story.